All right, everybody. Hello. As always, welcome back to Ultra Kellen Real Estate. Thank you for all support, all subscribers. Greatly appreciate it. So to get right into it, so for those of you guys who know me personally, everybody knows I played baseball. I played baseball in college. I had a very brief professional career, and I thought about this concept, while thinking about baseball. So two pitchers. Arnoldis Chapman, and then you have Greg Maddux. Two very different pitchers. Arnoldis Chapman, if you guys know anything about baseball, throws very hard. I think back in his days with the Reds, he could top out at 106 miles per hour. Very, very tough to hit. Greg Maddux, on the other hand, didn't throw that hard. Ball has some movement, but he was very good at hitting his locations. So he topped out maybe like at, 90, 91, 92, and even sometimes he was really only topping out like in the 80s. So I said this to one of my friends the other day. You want to find deals when it comes to real estate, whether it's flipping houses, whether it's buying and holding, whether you're going to be a landlord and whether you're going to rent properties out. You want to find deals that are more Arnoldis Chapman. So let me explain. So because Arnoldis Chapman threw so hard, he could literally put the ball right down the middle of the plate, and a lot of batters would still swing through it. They would pop it up. They would get jammed. It would break their bat. He had a very big margin of error because he threw the ball with such authority. The ball was coming at you 105, 106 miles per hour. He literally could put it in your favorite spot to swing at a pitch, and you still couldn't hit it. It gave him that much more margin of error to where if he was just anywhere in the strike zone, it was almost impossible to hit at times. So that's the way you want to be when finding your deals. You want to find deals that give you large margins of error. So what do I mean by that? So let's take an instance at a deal where maybe you buy it and you automatically have equity. So you bought it at a great price. Remember, I did a video maybe I think last year where I talked about buying for the right price as my number one rule for real estate. So you buy for the right price. You bought the property for 100, even though arguably it could have sold for 150, but you bought it for 100. So you bought it for 100 and automatically you look up and it's already worth 160, 170. Bam. Already have equity before you even actually did any work to the property. So that's a great deal. That deal gives you a lot of room for error, the same way Arnoldis Chapman had. Arnoldis Chapman had a lot of room for error because he threw so hard. So that way, when you have to get things fixed, maybe you have a multi-unit, a tenant doesn't pay, XYZ, 9 times out of 10, you're in a position where your mortgage isn't killing you and you have room to make improvement with the property and you can still make a little bit of money. So now, on the other hand, you got Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux, great pitcher, but you want to avoid deals that are like him because Greg Maddux didn't throw that hard. He had very little room for mistakes. If he put that pitch at 90 miles an hour right down the heart of the plate, it was going to get teed off on, just flat out, plain and simple. So he had to be very precise with everything that he did. He had to hit his location. And the same thing, you look at real estate, you don't want to do deals like that because if you have to always be exactly precise and you have very little room for error, and trust me, in real estate, error, mistakes, things that have to be fixed, all that type of things always happens. But if you look at a deal and you bought it for 150 and you already look at Redfin the day after and it's only, saying it's worth like 140, maybe 145, you're already behind the 8 ball. Like, you have very little room for error. Like, if something has to be fixed, you're not making money that month. Or better yet, you're not making money and you're going to be set back for a month or two after that because you have such little room for error because you bought the property for too high of a price. You want to give yourself the biggest margin of error possible, whether you're trying to flip a property or whether you're trying to just buy and hold or whether you're trying to rent it out as a multi-unit. You always want to have some type of room for error. So if you're looking like Greg Maddux on the deal and you're saying, man, these numbers are way too thin. In order for me to even think about making money, everything has to go absolutely right every month. And just from my experience, I'm no expert, but I do have 12 years of doing this from owning multi-units. Nothing goes right all the time. It just doesn't. Now, don't get me wrong. You do have some months where, your phone doesn't ring too often. Nothing has to be fixed. But 9 times out of 10, it's just not that way. So if your deals are looking more like Greg Maddux, where you have to always be exact, just know it's going to be a tough road. You want the deals that look more like Arnoldis Chapman. All right, so got more videos coming soon. As always, thank you for your support. If you're watching on YouTube, you can find me on Instagram at Ultra Kellen. And if you're watching on Instagram, you can find me on YouTube at Ultra Kellen Real Estate. All right, guys, until next time.